Hello, welcome to the Fiber Nymph Dyeworks channel. My name is Lisa, also known as Fiber Nymph. Today is Thursday, February 8th, and happy February. So, it's been a couple of weeks, I guess, and I have a lot to talk to you about today. It's been a very prolific crafting period for me since we spoke last, so I'm not going to dilly-dally too much with a whole lot of announcements. I will tell you one thing in the shop that I want to bring your attention to right off the bat, though, is this colorway, which is going to be in the shop throughout the month of February. It's called Dream Big. This is a colorway that I developed to be part of the fiber community Fearless February fundraiser. You may have heard about that already, and if you haven't, let me just give you a quick thumbnail about it. If you know Jen Lassonde from the Downseller Studio podcast, she also goes by Boston Jen. Her mother, Diane, who is also known as Boston Jen's mom, was diagnosed with cancer a couple of years ago, I think 2021 actually. And as a result of that and her wanting to leave a legacy that would help other people, they developed the Fearless Living Fund, which benefits the Blind Center of Arizona. Now, I'm going to be doing a special video tomorrow where I talk to Jen and she can explain all about that and that cause in much more detail than I'm going to do right now. So you can be looking for that. I'll probably get that up over the weekend. But anyway, just know that $5 from every item that I sell from the Dream Big collection, which I have self-striping, obviously. There's also mini skein sets. Here's what self-striping looks like in the skein, if you want to know. My sample's on Bedazzled. This is Bounce. So yeah, self-striping on a whole bunch of different bases, mini skeins, and then fiber braids and spinning sets on multiple fibers. I'm trying to keep all of this in stock so you can just go in the shop, order it, and then I'll get it shipped out to you within a week. I'm asking a week just because I have a lot of it dyed. It's not all reskeined, so I'm kind of reskeining it as the orders come in. But it's going to be in the shop all through the month of February, including the 29th, because we have a leap day this year, and $5 from each item that is sold from that listing I will be donating to the Fearless Living Fund. So thank you so much to everybody who has already ordered. I've had a lot of orders come in. Last I checked, which was right before I sat down to record, everything is still in stock. I'm trying to keep things dyed and restocking as they sell out. I have restocked a few things already. If I need to, I'll put some things up maybe towards the end of the month as like a dye to order, which means you won't get it in February, but you'll get it soon after. But anyway, yeah, it's all up there. Please take a look. It's a wonderful cause. And again, I'll have a separate video up where I talk to Jen, and that should be coming over the weekend. So that is my one big main announcement right now. Let's see. Next, what I'm wearing. I am wearing my original Weekender sweater, my pullover patterned by Andrea Mowry. It may look a little different to you because I am wearing it with the stockinette side facing. It is one of those sweaters where you knit it with the stockinette side out, and then when it's done, you end up basically turning it inside out to finish it. And so the reverse stockinette side is supposed to be what's facing. I don't really like the reverse stockinette side. I have worn it that way. And when you wear it that way, then you see this really fun little slip stitch detail that goes down the center. You can kind of see the hint of where it's at when the stockinette side's out, but you can't really see it. And I don't mind. I just really like this side of the fabric better. And this was a combo spin that I did specifically for this sweater several years ago now. I don't even want to know how many years ago because it'll probably seem unbelievable to me that it's as many years as it has been. But anyway, that's what I'm wearing because it's a little chilly out. It's a nice day. We've had some really nice weather, which let me tell you, my husband is away. I think I told you guys about this on the last episode that he was planning to take basically a 2-week trip to the Everglades on a solo canoe trip, and he did leave last Saturday. He hit the water on Monday, so he's been canoeing now Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. This is his 4th day out on the water. I totally expected him to not have any cell service while he was actually out on the water. And we were surprised that Monday and Tuesday his camping spots did have like 1 bar of connectivity. So he was able to text me, but I have not heard from him since yesterday morning, I guess was the last time I heard from him. And I probably won't hear from him again, at least until his halfway point, which is fine. I know he's fine. He knows what he's doing. It's just a little weird. Anyway, why was I telling you that? Oh, yeah, the weather. The weather has been beautiful, and I'm so glad, because as much as I still don't mind snow and stuff in February, and I kind of like it to be seasonal, I am really happy that I have not had to go out and get the tractor out and plow and salt and go to my neighbors and plow and salt for her too. She's a widow and, you know, needs somebody to do that for her. So Bill always does it. So, and he taught me how to do it over there. But I'm kind of glad I haven't had to do that. I did have the tractor out yesterday. I refilled all the firewood up on the front porch. That's the nice thing about having a front end loader on it, a bucket. So anyway, but other than that, things are going great. What else? Oh, the other thing I want to tell you before we get started into the crafts is the last time I recorded, I told you I was going to be doing a drawing for a cordsmith. And we did have several people comment and enter the drawing. Now this is the extra one. This is the one you'll be getting. It's this really pretty mossy green. It's kind of like an iridescent mossy green. And along with that, you're going to be getting this pin from Adorn It that says Knit Fast, Dye Warm. It's a double. I have one already. So I'm going to share the love and send that along with this. So before I record, I'm just going to announce the winner now so you guys don't have to wait. Before I recorded, I sat down and I used the comment picker, an online comment picker that works with YouTube comments. And I think there were 35 comments that qualified as entries. And the comment picker picked the comment by Tina-GI10T. So Tina, congratulations. You are the winner of this cordsmith, which I hope you will enjoy playing with, and the pin. So please email me, lisa@fibernymphdyworks.com, and I need to have your full name and your mailing address so I can get your prize out to you. Anyway, thank you to everybody who entered. If you didn't win, I hope you will pop on Instagram. I don't know if she has... I don't know if she has a website up for these or if she's still just selling them through Instagram. I'll try to put that information in the drop-down menu below. Which reminds me, I do put show notes in the drop-down, the description box below the video. Just click where it says more and you will get all of my show notes. I put timestamps in for everything that I talk about, so you can jump around if you want to. And I try to link everything that I talk about, including project pages. I have project pages both on Ravelry and I have them on my own project blog, so you can choose which spot works best for you if you would like to see details of the projects I talk about. All right, that's all I'm going to talk about right now. We are going to jump right into the crafting because I have finished objects for you. And the first thing that I have finished is something you saw finished last time, and I told you I was going to be ripping it out and re-knitting it, and I did, and that's this hat. So this was my KitKat comfort hat from our kitty that passed away, and I did this as my own little comfort project. Yeah, it fits much better now. Here, I'll mess up my hair and put it on for you. Yeah, the first one was just so oversized, and it was not comfortable at all. This one's pretty much perfect. I used US 5 needles for the ribbing and 7 for the body. I don't remember if I went down in stitch count as well as making it shorter. I don't know. I could count and figure it out, but I have not done that yet. But it definitely fits better without being so long. I'm not a slouchy hat person for the most part, and it just got too roomy. Plus I had done that weird crown thing on the other one. This one fits great. So this was just a whole bunch of random little balls of hand spun that I used. This orangey brown color was my main color, and then I striped it. Basically every other, kind kind of every other round, and then I'd do a few rounds of the main color, then every other round for another color. It was really pretty random. So anyway, but I'm very happy with it, and if it gets cold again, I can put it on. It's not particularly cold today, so no hat needed, especially in here. Matter of fact, I'm going to stand up right now, and I'm going to turn the heat down in here because it's a little bit toasty, especially with this sweater on. Okay, there we go. I turned it off. It'll stay warm enough in here until I'm done. I'm having just coffee. Matter of fact, I'm having black coffee. I haven't drank black coffee in years, but for whatever reason, I decided I wanted black coffee right now. And this is my fun mug that I just got. And there's one of you out there who I just had a conversation about the fact that I need no more mugs. And so you're laughing at me right now. I know. Anyway, this is a Danica Studios mug. So it's not like an indie kind of mug or anything. I haven't, well, I don't. Emma does. I bought it for her birthday one year with the moon phases on it. And I love it. And I kind of wished I had bought myself one, but I'm like, I didn't really need one. I didn't need this one either. But last weekend, Emma and I, we had gone, I'll talk about it later, but we ended up at this indie bookstore, and they had a bunch of really cool stuff aside from books. And they had this mug. And I've been ogling this mug online for quite some time, and I couldn't resist it in person. So I now have this fun new folk art mug that just makes me very, very happy. What's one more mug? All right. Let's talk about more projects. Socks. I finished my midwinter socks. So here they are. This is my midwinter colorway. This is also still in the shop. I think there's still a couple of skeins in stock, and the dye to order listing, or I don't remember if it's dye to order or pre-order. I'm going to be clarifying those terms very soon because I'm kind of redoing some things on in my web shop. At any rate, if you want this and it's not in stock in what you want, you can still order it. I'll have it up for a little while longer. So anyway, yeah. So this is midwinter. I knit it on the Mountain Tweed BFL base, and I used a little contrasting mini in the shadow purple. And there's really not a whole lot more to tell you about. It's my basic sock recipe that I use for almost all of my socks. It's a 2x1 rib, traditional heel flap and gusset, and yeah, that's about it. US 1 needles. That's what I knit. So I have another pair of socks that I can wear, which is exciting. Socks are such fun projects. I'm glad that I've got my sock mojo back, because there for a while I just didn't want to knit socks. I don't know why, but I'm glad to have the sock mojo back. All right, so midwinter socks, those are done. Okay, my next finished object. This is the pièce de résistance for the podcast, okay? It is my happiest project that I've done in quite some time. Oh my gosh. It's my A Middle Earth Winter corner to corner crochet blanket. I am so happy with this project. I mean, here it is in all its glory, all its 4,250 yards of DK weight yarn glory. It is 68 inches square. There's no way I can open it up to show you so that you could see the whole thing. But I will put in a couple of pictures that I took of it on our bed. It is perfect. It is perfect. I mean, it's not technically perfect. I'm sure I know I have mistakes in it, but I'm so happy with it. It brought me joy the entire time I was working on it. And I'm a little sad that it's done. I mean, I'm glad that it's done because I got it done before the end of the pigskin party. So I was able to, get tons of points for it for the pigskin party. Not that that really matters. What are points? The points don't matter. What was that? Drew Carey, whatever that show was. Anyway, so I finished it yesterday morning, and that includes, you'll notice, there are no ends hanging off of it. Last weekend, I sat one evening, I don't remember if it was Saturday or Sunday, but I just sat because I had basically gone through all of the yarn that I had, and I did still need to dye one more small batch of yarn to finish it off. So I sat that evening and I wove in all the ends, all those brillianty ends along the edges and some of them in the middle, where I joined yarns mid-row. I got much less precious about that as I went through this project. I did that because I decided I did not want to put a border on this blanket. I just wanted it to be the edges as they were. I felt like any border that I put on it, I was going to have to dye a lot of yarn in a single color to get around the whole thing, I think, because I think it would, well, not a lot of yarn, a couple of skeins probably. And I didn't really want to do that. I did not want to do any of the borders or edgings that had been suggested to me that would have allowed me to camouflage the edges, not because they weren't good ideas, and I am intrigued by some of them and I'm going to play with those on other projects. I just didn't want the bulk that would add to the edge of this, because this is a hefty blanket to begin with. So I didn't want to do that, and I loved the idea of having fringe around it, but I didn't want to have fringe like on the edge up near our face. So I would have had to have put some, woven some in and then added fringe to make it look more full. I didn't want to do that. So I just wove the ends in, and honestly, I don't mind weaving in ends. Like, I get into a rhythm, and if I have something to watch or listen to, I just do it, and it goes really fast. I think it was not more than an hour and a half, and I had them all woven in. So that was perfectly fine. It was, I loved it. I'm so happy with this blanket. It makes my heart go pitter patter. Anyway, just to recap for you, this is the blanket that I started knitting or crocheting last December 1st using my Middle Earth Winter Holiday Countdown Collection set that I kept for myself. I kept the Strong DK version. I had absolutely no idea how much yarn it was going to take me to make a queen size bedside blanket. Didn't have any inkling that it was going to take as much as it took. So I had dyed, I had my mini set, which was 24 minis, plus I had dyed myself 4 balls of my Bonafide base, which is also DK weight, as semi-solids to use as the in-between stripes. So like every other stripe unit, whether it's 1, 2, or 3 rows, is a semi-solid. And I ran out of yarn before I reached the halfway point. And so towards the end of December, I started dyeing my next batch of yarn. In the end, I ended up dyeing 18 more minis, all of which are still Middle Earth themed. Some of them are variegated versions of my Middle Earth Imagined colorways that I've already come out with. Some of them are ones that will be coming out in the future. Some of them are just ideas I was playing with. But they're all in that theme, in that same color palette. And then I also ended up dyeing 5 more skeins of Bonafide in semi-solids. And then in the last batch that I dyed, I did 5 half skeins. Oh, excuse me, which I did end up using anywhere between 10 and 20 grams of each of those half skeins as well. And of the minis, I only had a total of about 30 grams left of the last little batch of minis that I did. And that was only 3 of the colors. So I really did use up almost all of the yarn. I have enough of the DK weight that I think I could do a fun hat or a cowl or something. So I'm going to play with that with the colors I have left, just, because I can. But yeah, it's done. I'm so happy with it. It will not be my last corner to corner crochet blanket because I really did enjoy the process so much. As much as I enjoy doing granny stripes, I think I enjoyed this more almost. I don't know. But anyway, it's done. I'm happy. And now I just sort of feel like I don't know what to work on, because this is what I was dedicating most of my crafting time to in the last couple of weeks. I just wanted to get it done. And now I'm like, what do I do now? We'll talk about that a little bit in a minute. But yeah, you ever have that whenever you're finished with a huge project and you're like, now what? So anyway, that's my blanket. It's done. Yay. We're going to move on. Or I'll just keep gushing about it because I'm so happy with it. My last finished object is also something that I was working on last year and I finished, and that is my spinning project that I was doing with my Grab Your Flannel colorway, which is my exclusive colorway for the pigskin party this year. I had a skein of that, and then I had dyed up a contrasting or a coordinating skein to spin with it. So here are the 4 skeins that I got. What I did was I split them so that I had, these are all 3 plies, traditional 3 plies. So this one has 3 plies of just that coordinating red that I dyed. This one is 1 ply of the Grab Your Flannel colorway with 2 plies of the red. Then this one has 1 ply of the red and 2 of the Grab Your Flannel. And then this last one are just 3 plies of the Grab Your Flannel. So it's a progression. It definitely turned out way more muted than I was expecting. However, I used mixed BFL silk as my fiber, and that is a very muted fiber colorway to begin with. So I don't know what I was thinking, that it was going to be something really bright. I probably wasn't thinking, that's probably it, but I love how it turned out. These are definitely my colors. I mean, my gosh, look, they like coordinate with my sweater and everything. Now, I have not soaked these, but I did do the math because I tend to lose about 10% of my yardage on average when I soak my hand spun yarns. And so I did do that math so that I could put in a more accurate number for my pigskin party points. Spinning project is done. Can't wait to start another one, but I refused to let myself start another spinning project until this blanket was done, because I couldn't afford to get distracted from it. So anyway, I did end up with like 597 yards. That was my adjusted total for what I know it'll be once I soak it. So just under 600 yards. I don't have a plan for the yarn. That's obviously plenty of yarn to do, I don't know, a shawl. It's I would say, based on yardage and weight, it's a heavy sport or a light DK. So I could always dye something else to put with it and make a sweater, but I probably won't because I've got sweater lots waiting for me already. I don't need to add to them. So anyway, we'll see. So that's the end of the finished objects. So that brings us to, what am I working on? And aside from the fact that I have been questioning what I want to move on to work to, I do have some projects underway that I have been working on. So let's look at my Ariana cardigan. I have started back on that. It's just a slow process, you know. But whoops, I just dropped a little bloop here. Hold on. I started doing more squares. So anyway. All right, so the last you saw this, I think there were 3 rows, maybe. So 1, 2, 3, I think. Maybe the 4th was on here, I don't remember. But anyway, there are 5 rows now. And I am at the point where this little marker here, and then there's one on the other side, this is marking where the sleeve is going to emerge from. So this next row, there will not be a square here or there. Those will just be empty, and then as I do the next row over that, there will again be another empty. I can see it in my head. I can't explain it really well. This is definitely going to be an organic construction because I have abandoned the directions from the pattern and I'm doing my own thing. Now, the other thing I did tell you, I think at one point, was that the way I was changing it up, these 2 fronts were actually going to be right up against each other. And so I wasn't going to have room for a button band, and I was instead going to just have to doing edging and put little buttons on the edge. I'm wrong, because there's actually, this is how it will be centered, to have these armholes actually in a V. Otherwise, it would have had like not even half of like a quarter of a square over, and that would be weird. So it will actually be kind of like this width of this block in the back. That's the center back. So there is plenty of room for me to actually do button bands. So that's a good thing. again, I have no idea how this is going to come together. I'm just going to keep making the squares and adding them. And I also, at this point, have to start thinking about shaping the neckline, because the original sweater has a V-neck. And I kind of want to have a V-neck. So I have to start thinking about how I'm going to do that shaping. But I'll do it. I'll get to it as I come to it. The yarn that I am using for this is Swan's Island. Do I have it written down exactly what it is? I don't. Swan's Island something. Oh, here. I have the full skeins that I haven't used yet. Swan's Island 100% Rambouillet. So it's a very nice yarn. This is much brighter right there than it really is. It's a very sticky wool. It's hard for me to work with right now because my hands are super dry at this point in the winter, but I really like it. It's a nice woolly wool. It does not feel itchy though, and I don't think it'll be scratchy on me, which is going to be nice because I don't need anything scratchy right now. But yeah, it's coming along. Again, it's just going to be a slow process, and so I'm just trying to keep working at it. My goal is to have this done by the end of March. Because this is sort of going to be my entry for the sweater weather make-along that Carol from A Stitch in Time is hosting the first 3 months of this year. So it may end up being my only garment that I'm able to put in there, but it's my main one that I want to get finished. And I'd like to get it finished this winter so that I can actually wear it. That would be nice too. Anyway, so I've been working on that. Another thing that I've been working on, because I needed something simple. I like to have like an easy project to work on when I'm, sitting at the table or in the car or something. And so I started socks, and I just had the urge to do, I need some Shortie socks, because a lot of my Shortie socks that I made, I don't know, 4 or 5 years ago are really starting to show wear. Some of them have holes, and I wear Shortie socks a lot. So I pulled out all my self-striping fingering weight leftovers, and I'm making Frankensocks, and they're going to just be mismatched Frankensocks because I'm not making two the same. So this is the first one that I've got done, and then this is the second one that I'm working on, and I'm through with the gusset decreases, so I'm just working out the foot. This is like this little blip of black there that I kind of wish wasn't there, but I don't care enough. I didn't care enough to do anything about it, so it'll be fine. So anyway, this pair of them are going to be for me. I told Emma if she wanted a pair, I would do a pair for her when I'm done with them. Just because, again, they're simple, easy. It's my usual sock recipe. And I have a whole bunch more. I just pulled out a whole bunch of balls and stuck them in this project bag, which is an Adorn It project bag. So yeah, so that has been my basically easy, brainless, on the go, sitting, having breakfast kind of knitting. So that is that. What else? That's it. That's all that I've been working on. Because again, I finished the blanket, and I've been sort of paralyzed in making choices about what else I might want to work on. So things on the horizon, for sure, things that are on the horizon, is a new spinning project. And I've been waiting to, again, wanted to get the blanket done, but I also wanted to show you the fiber before I started it. I'm going to do these last 3 braids that I had pulled out last summer for Tour de Fleece. These are the last 3. You might remember, if you were watching back then, that I had pulled out a whole basket full of fiber that was fiber that I had dyed, so Fiber Nymph Dye Works fiber. And I spun through a lot of that, not just in July, or not just over Tour de Fleece, but like Tour de Fleece plus going on, like through the fall. I did do a lot. So these are the last 3. This was my 2017 anniversary colorway, Never Not Color. So that's on a little boop of BFL. And that's the other thing. All 3 of these braids are about 3 ounces, so that'll work well together. These 2 were part of a club. This was the Barber Pole Fiber Club. And so this one, what was this? Jodhpur Blue and Colors of India, which is a gradient. What I'm going to do, my plan for this is going to end up being a 3-ply yarn. I'm going to spin each one individually. So there will be 1 ply of this blue, 1 ply of this, which this is a gradient, so I am going to break it up and do it. I'm not going to spin it as a gradient, I don't think. I'm going to break it up into several strips so that the colors will be mixed up. And then 1 ply of this, and then they'll all go together. It'll just be a very bright, colorful yarn by the time it's done. But I think that'll be fun. And again, I have about the same amount of all 3 of the fibers, so it should work out pretty well. So that will be going on my wheel very soon. I already mentioned, I told Emma I would do a pair of Frankensocks for her. I have a hat that I would really like to make. The pattern, what was the pattern called? I can't remember now. It's cute though. I'll let you know the details when and if I actually start it. But I think I might do that hat. If I do the hat, I'll do it out of that yarn, the Rios that I ripped out of the reciprocal that I showed you last time, because the 2 dye lots were just so different. So that would be a really good project for that. And Emma might like that hat too. I mean, I might like the hat as well, but Emma wears hats a lot more than I do. I don't wear hats super frequently. She wears one almost every single day. So there's that. I also am at the point in the year where I'm thinking about show samples, new show samples, because I like to refresh my show samples every year. So I have printed off a couple of patterns recently that I'm thinking about for that. So maybe I'll start one of those. I should start one of those, definitely, even if I do another project too. And I'm really kind of thinking about, like, can I start another sweater now? That was my reward I was going to give myself once I finished the blanket and that grab your flannel spin. I'm like, those 2 I absolutely have to get done. When I'm done with those, then I'm going to let myself start another sweater. My only fear is that if I start another sweater, the Ariana is not going to see the progress that it needs. So, I don't know. And the one that I really want to start is the crochet one that I was just going to do, like winging it on myself, like a drop shoulder crochet with 2 squares essentially put together, maybe with sleeves, maybe not. I have the yarn out for it, and I could start it, and I really want to start it. I just don't know if I should. So anyway, next time you'll see what I decided to do. But for right now, I'm just sort of in this phase of like, I don't know what I want to do. I just don't know. So anyway, other than that, I do want to show you this. This is not something that I made. This is something that was gifted to me by a viewer and a customer. And I've met her in person too. She used to come into the yarn shop that I used to work at many years ago. Anyway, she has a circular sock machine, and she had told me some months ago she wanted to make me a pair of socks. And I thought, oh, that was really sweet, and so I gave her my measurements, and then kind of, it went to the back of my mind, didn't think about it much. And then, I don't know, a week or so ago, an envelope came, and check it out. Look at this beautiful pair of socks. Isn't that amazing? It made my day. Just such a sweet gift. I've already thanked her, but if you're watching, thank you. You know who you are, and I appreciate this so much. And this is some Hue Loco yarn that she used, which is very cool also because I have never knit with Hue Loco. I don't have anything in Hue Loco yarn, and she said she wanted to use yarn other than my own, which makes sense because, like, if I want socks in my own yarns, obviously I can do that. But yeah, I don't remember what the colorway is. She did send me the ball band. I'm sorry, I forgot the colorway, but it's very, very pretty purple, totally up my alley with colors. Anyway, and they fit perfectly. So I am forever just amazed at what circular sock machines can do. I watch a lot of videos where people have circular sock machines. Aquila from a Lefty Knitter podcast, she has one, and she's always doing really interesting things. It's just such an interesting way of making things. And, I'm just so happy. So another pair of socks just for me. That was amazing. And as makers, you know what it's like to get something that somebody makes for you. It's extra special, right? Anyway. All right, so that's going to take us into the Project Pool Make-Along. We're going to talk about that for a bit. Again, I recorded an intro video to our Make-Along for this year. I will link that again up in whatever corner that shows up and down in the show notes. I'm moving right along on some of my Project Pool projects. I think I've finished 5 so far, which is cool. I keep adding to it though. And some of mine are also very vague and larger, encompass more than just one thing, but like make things out of scraps. That's kind of, like the socks. It's a scrappy project. The hat was a scrappy project. So even though those items were not specifically on my list, they fell into the list because of that categorization. And as I mentioned last time, one of my Project Pool Make-Along items is to try to make a new recipe every week. And I have been doing really well with that. I believe this is the 6th week of the year, and I have tried 7 new recipes so far. Now, some of them are pretty simple. Like one was air fryer grilled cheese, because I kept hearing about this and I saw an article about it and I'm like, okay, I'll try it. It was very crispy. It was almost too crispy, like it hurt my mouth. But it was okay. The cheese melted very, very well. So that was something. And some of them were just like smaller things, but 2 recipes I will tell you that were absolutely amazing. One is called Korean inspired salmon rice bowls. So good. So good. I did the salmon in the air fryer. The recipe was written that way. I mean, it also said how you could just do it in the regular oven, but I did the air fryer. And I had my rice maker out, and they were both plugged into the same outlet, and I was wondering, because older house, sometimes you're not sure how things are going to go, but it did not trip a breaker, so that was a win. However, another night we were using the air fryer. I was using it on a much higher temperature than I usually do though, and the microwave was running, and that tripped a breaker. So that one we can't do. But anyway, yeah. So the salmon, the rice bowls were really good. I will link that recipe below. And then another one that I just made the other night for Emma and I, because I'm having fun making things for her and I that, I know we would like, maybe Bill wouldn't like as much while he's away, were balsamic Brussels sprouts with feta. Oh my gosh, so good. Now I will say, that was another air fryer recipe. The Brussels sprouts, like the outer leaves that kind of fall off and everything, they got very crispy, as in like kind of burnt. Because they just kind of, fluff around in there. So that wasn't awesome, but it did not take away from how good the rest of it was. And anything with feta on it, I love feta. So that's been going on. Shop news again. Where to go? I don't know. I don't know where I set the actual sock. Oh, here, it's under my show notes. So again, dream big. This is in the shop. $5 from the purchase of each of these items. All month of February is being donated to the Fearless Living Fund. So you'll find that. I am adding just random self-striping colorways and other things as I get them dyed up. I've put a lot of, serendipity skeins in the shop lately because I have had a lot of just extra leftover dye from other things, and so that's what I've been using it for. Most of them are on Cozy, my worsted weight base, and they're mostly all variegated. Some of them are closer to tonal, but they're all non-repeatable, one-of-a-kind skeins. So if you're looking for just something fun, that palette cleanser kind of project that you need, to break up the monotony or something, that's what they're great for, because there's only one of each for the most part. Sometimes there's 2, but yeah, so they're there if you want to check those out. There's still some tweeds from my big tweed drop that I did a few weeks ago. Still some tweeds in there if you're looking for some tweeds, including the confetti tweed, both on fingering and DK. I've got some fiber that I dyed that will be going into the shop. It's kind of going to be a sampler of different colors in this really interesting wool and flax blend that I got in quite a while ago. And it was just such a unique blend that I knew it wasn't going to be everybody's cup of tea, so I wasn't quite sure what to do with it. I finally just dyed it all up in different colors. I'm going to put them together in, these packs of just the different colors, and you can play with them. So those will be going up pretty soon. I also have a big restock of Haya knitting needles and notions to add to the shop quite soon, as soon as I can get photographs, because I have some new things in there as well as restocks of older things. And soon, I would say by the end of, I don't want to say when, I'm going to be putting up my 2024 Pi Day colorways. There should be 2 of them. I'm planning to do 2. I'm hopeful at this point I'll be able to have those in stock and dyed to order. But we'll see how that goes. But there will be new Pi Day colorways coming, and my anniversary colorway for this year will be coming out. I have been in business for 13 years now. This is my 14th year, and I have a very special colorway that I'm doing for my anniversary this year, and I cannot wait to share it with you. So those are just a couple of advanced little hints about what's coming up. But the best way, again, to stay in the loop as to what's going in the shop is to be on my newsletter list. You can go to any page of my website, fibernymphdyworks.com, and there's a link up at the top where you can subscribe to the newsletter. There's a link at the bottom, and usually there's like a little thing that slides out and said, hey, you want to be on the newsletter? Best way to do it. I don't send out a ton of newsletters, usually no more than once a week, unless there's something special going on. You might get 2 in 1 week that way, but I'm not somebody who sends out like just spam like multiple times a week. I don't do that because I don't like that. So anyway, other than that, life, as I said, Bill is in the Everglades right now. As far as I know, he is alive and well and having fun. Yeah. He did send me a picture of an alligator, because they're there, at his camping site. So he's doing well, having fun there. I'm just here holding down the fort with Emma. Emma and I went out on Saturday. That was the thing. Bill left Saturday. He had wanted to leave Sunday, but because of how he had to schedule his campsites and everything, it didn't work out that way. And weather-wise, it worked out better for him to leave Saturday. But we had tickets to go to one of our folk music concerts Saturday night. So Emma went with me instead. And that was a lot of fun. And the place where the venue for that is down in the Strip District of Pittsburgh. It's at the City Winery. And in that same terminal building, there's a place called the Puttery, which is an indoor putt-putt place. So Emma and I went there first. And that was so much fun too. I haven't been to putt-putt in general in years, let alone like a fancy putt-putt where there's a bar and you can get drinks and stuff as you go. So that was kind of fun. And it's also fun going out with your adult child and like getting drinks while you putt-putt and going to a concert and, trying different wines. She tried wines. I did not try wine. I had other stuff. But yeah. Anyway, so that was a lot of fun. That was our Saturday. This coming Saturday, Chris is going to come up and we are going to do a Lord of the Rings marathon. We're going to try to get all 3 of those movies in. I'm not overly optimistic that will actually happen, and I know Emma will not sit through all 3 of them, but we'll be doing that on Saturday, so that'll be fun. See, and that's why I need some like simple projects to be working on, because I am going to be sitting on my butt in front of the television for like 12 hours on Saturday. So I need to have something that I can work on while I'm watching the movies, because I wouldn't want to miss anything and not know what's going on. Instead, I'll just be reciting every line of dialogue along with the movie, because that's what I do. Anyway, I think that is everything I had to tell you about today. I hope you guys are having a really good month, February. Yeah, so if you are anywhere where they've been having crazy weather, I know a lot of people in California are just like getting hammered with rain recently. Wow. I hope you're well, and I hope you're safe and not flooded out. And if there's anything else going on that I'm not up to date with. See, that's the other thing. When Bill isn't home, I don't take in as much news, because he's the one who has the TV on like all the time during meals and stuff. And I don't. I glance at the news on my phone occasionally, but I'm sure I'm missing things. So anyway, I hope you all are well. Again, if you were the winner of the Cordsmith, please email me. If you have any questions about anything that I talked about, feel free to ask them in the comments. You can also email me. If you are not already subscribed to the channel, go ahead and subscribe so that you get a notification when a new video goes up. Like the video, all that stuff that I never say because I feel funny saying it, but it does really help, to keep the podcast up there and it gets out and gets more viewers that way. Also, if you want some extra content each month, I do have a membership. It's one low flat fee. And for that, you get at least one bonus video. Hopefully, that will start to be more because I have some new things and I have a new piece of equipment that I can do other fancier videos with now. So that should be coming. Yeah. So anyway, you can check out the membership if you would like to support the channel and what I do here. I would really appreciate that. Anyway, have a great rest of your week. Have a great rest of, well, I'm not going to say the rest of February because you'll hear from me again before the end of February. But yeah, take care and I'll talk to you again soon. Bye.